Let's look at the next type of control flow statements. The next construct we would discuss is a switch statement. It's used to implement multi-way decision-making code, based on the value of an expression. The typical syntax to use the switch statement is shown here. The switch statement helps us to test the value of the expression and checks whether it matches one of the constant values used in the case statement. If the expression matches any of the case statement, then it will branch to it. If there is no match, then it will branch to the default case. Important point to always remember is, the values used for matching in case statement should be a constant value. In the code shown here, the expression used in the switch statement is evaluated. Then the value of expression is matched against each of the values given in the case statement. That is value 1 and value 2. It matches from first case statement to last one. If the value of the expression is value 2, then it will directly branch there, and starts executing the statements from case 2. It will keep executing the code, until it reaches a break statement or the end of switch statement. When the break statement is seen, the code will branch to the end of the switch statement. Please note that, the case statements here are simple labels. It is just used to mark a branching point. They don't enclose the statements written inside the case. After branching to that label, it will keep executing until a break statement is seen. What it means is, if there is no break statement at the end of a case, it will fall through the next case statement. We will see examples to understand this better. We will now write sample codes, to see how switch statements can be used. So, how can switch statement be used to write a simple program of comparing two numbers? If the two numbers are a and b, then the expression for the switch statement will be a greater than b. This expression can have only two possible results, either true or false, true being 1 and false being 0. So based on the output of this expression, we can write case statements. Two cases to handle both outcomes. If the value of the expression is true, then it means a is greater than b. So in case 1, we print that and break out of switch statement. If the value is false, then we print b is greater than a and exit switch statement. As you would note, there is no default case, because we know that the expression can have only two values. Do you think this code will work for all the values of a and b? What will happen if a is equal to b? This sample code doesn't seem to take care of that. If a is equal to b, then it would go to case 0. And print b is greater than a, which is not correct. Hence this program is not correct and needs modification. So where do you think the code should be modified to handle the equal condition? Let's see that. The issue with the code was that a greater than b would return false if a is equal to b. So we have to modify the case 0. Case 0 can have two different possible outcomes. Either the numbers are equal or b is greater. So inside case 0, we again write one more switch statement with a new expression, a double equal to b. Then we write two cases for it. If the expression is true, then both the numbers are equal, else b is greater than a. This example shows that the switch statements can be used in nested fashion too. We will look at one more example of using switch statement. In this example, we would write cases without using break statements, and see how that changes the behavior of switch statement. Let's write a function, which would print the details of an employee. This function is passed an integer, which indicates the level of detail of the employee, that needs to be printed. The level being 4 is the highest. With this level, the function would print all the possible details about an employee. Level 0 is the lowest, where it would print only the name of the employee. Here is the code that's implemented using switch statement. As you can note, we haven't used any break statement in this. The case 4 is the topmost and the case 0 and default is the last one. As we know, the case statements are always compared from top to bottom. So if the function is passed with 4, it will go to case 4 and print the age of the employee. Since there is no break statement, it would keep executing the statement until it reached the end, or the break statement. So next it would print the date of birth and continue this way until the end of the switch statement. If a lesser level is passed, it will branch lower in the switch statement and hence it will print less data. We have clubbed the default case with case 0, so if any other value is provided as the input to the function, it will just print the name of the employee. I hope this example helped you understand the importance of break statement within a case in the switch statement. Now let's look at the next type of control flow construct. It is goto keyword. A goto statement is a special keyword using which you can make the program control jump to a predefined location marked by a label. The scope of the label is only within a function, and hence a goto statement can jump only within a function. Here is a sample code, which shows the usage syntax of a goto statement. The word following the goto keyword is the label. You can mark the location of this label in the function using the syntax shown here. The label is ended with a colon. When the goto statement is executed, the program will jump to the label which was marked in the function. Goto statement can be used for both forward and backward jumps within a function. Goto statement is sometimes handy when you want to exit from a deeply nested construct. For example, if you have a deeply nested for loop, there is no single statement that can help you jump out of the whole nested loop. In this scenario, goto statements can be very handy. A single jump using a goto statement can take you out of all the nested loops. Before we end the chapter on control flow constructs, I thought of writing an implementation of switch statement using all the constructs we studied in this chapter. Here is the implementation that I could think of. This code will behave as a switch statement. The implementation uses do-while loop, if-else statements and goto statement. I use do-while loop to enclose all the statements within a block so that it looks neat, and break statement will break out of the loop, the way it works in switch statement. The if-else statements are used to compare the value of expression with each case statement value. Then we use the goto statement to jump to statements within the respective case. If the case has a break statement, then it will jump out of the loop, else it will continue to other labels. This is the same behavior as switch statement. Since it's a do-while loop with a false condition, this loop will be executed only once, similar to switch statement. I strongly suggest you to implement a code using switch statement. Then implement the switch statement in the code using other constructs the way we have done it here. It will help you get hold of all the constructs that we taught. Thank you. Do visit our website, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for new videos.